Today I'll be teaching you about Trendline. Trendline is one of the tools that we use to identify the direction and the strength of the market. It's a tool that we use to identify the directions and the strength of the market. Now, seeing this market now is actually bullish. It's bullish. So the problem that some traders used to encounter is that some trader, they don't know how to draw or to plot their trend line accurately and to trade with it effectively. Anything that makes you to do mistake in plotting your trend line, it might result in losing money in the market. So when you are plotting your trend line, you have to touch 3 points or you have to touch 3 peaks. For example, now if a market is bullish, you are plotting your trend line from the low to the high or from the lowest part to the highest part. Now, this is how to plot a trend line on a bullish market. Now, we see that we have first touch here, second touch here, third touch, fourth touch. Unfortunately, this one couldn't touch. So now the market is at this point. The market is at this point. You know, we cannot enter the market from here immediately, because if we enter the market from here, we will have a drawdown. We'll have a drawdown. So this place now, the market will have to retrace back to the trend line here. We'll have to retrace back to the trend line. Retrace back to the trend line. So at this point, anything can happen in the market. Market can do 2 things at this point. There is a possibility for this market to break this trend line down and come up and give us a double top here, then continue with downtrend. This is one of the biggest mistakes that some traders encounters while using trend line or trading with trend line. So if you want, it is not advisable to trade from trend line here immediately when market have gone away from trend line and began to retrace back to the trend line. It's not advisable to trade from here, because if you trade from here, you are actually playing gambling of 50-50. So as a professional trader, when you are using a trend line, you should use it with pattern. You should use it with patterns, because trend line go with demand and supplier. And when you are trading on a bullish side, you are subscribing to a demand. When you are trading on a bullish side, you are subscribing to a demand. At this point, supplier will just pull the market down small, while demand will take the market ahead of supplier. So at this point now, you have to wait for this supplier to be taken away before you initiate your trade. You wait for this supplier to be taken away. Don't enter your market from here. It's wrong. So wait for this supplier to be taken away and give you what? And give you double bottom. You will see a change of character here. The market will have to come down and test this previous supplier. This supplier now will automatically become your demand. It will become your demand, of which you will initiate your trade from here. This is how to trade with trend line. Trend line is only guiding you the directions of the market and the strength of the market. It's telling you the strength of the market, assuming that if this market break this trend line down now, the trend line is telling you that the trend is over. It's just telling you the trend is over. It's not telling you to enter the market from here. It's only telling you that the trend is over. But if this market break the previous supplier and we test it back, the trend line is telling you that the trend is still strong. That is why we say trend line is a tool of which we use to identify the trend of the market and the strength of the market. It's not a point of entering the market from the trend line immediately, because entering market from the trend line is like you are playing gambling of 50-50.